I don't know what to even say or where to start. Delph and Milner, prime examples, like I say. Do we have any loyal players? No, we don't. But I am going to speak quite positively. To start off with the performance yesterday. I thought we were decent in the second half. First half didn't show up. You know, I think that's been a major problem in the past sort of weeks. We're not very good in the first half, but we're better in the second half. Yeah, it does happen. Disappointed would be the overall thing, but it's good to see Duran and Coutinho looking good, so hopefully that changes in the next coming weeks. But I think we need to speak about Jack Grealish here. Jack Grealish, he let the Villa fans down once by leaving us, but to do it a second time, you know, by treating us like that in the away end, I think that just says it. I think that just says he doesn't want to come back, doesn't it? Because if I'm Jack Grealish and I left my boyhood club for 100 million, the thing I'm going to want to do is not celebrate against them 3 times in front of the away end, which I thought was disrespectful. But what I'm also not going to do is I'm not going to dive in front of my former loyal fans. He dived right in front of the Villa fans, directly. One City a penalty. No doubt about it, it was a dive. No one's saying it's not. What bothers me about it is Jacob Ramsey is obviously a bit younger than Grealish. He's about 21, 22. You know, he's been at Villa his whole life, very similar story. Well, was at Villa his whole life, Grealish, until he left, and, you know. The thing, you know, Ramsey would have been looking up to Grealish when he was younger, you know, while he was in the academy, and Grealish was keeping this up single-handedly, allegedly. And I do think, okay then, why did you feel the need, you know, Ramsey's the one that, you know, in quote marks, gave away that foul, even though it wasn't a foul. You've made him look stupid. You know, someone that looks up to you. I'm not allowing that. I don't think that's very, you know, respectful. And I think before I make a few more harsh comments on Grealish, because I don't honestly think he cares about Villa. I thought Ramsey had a poor game yesterday, but you don't need to do that against your idol. But the thing that makes me question, do you care about Villa, is the fact, like I say, he did that to Ramsey. He celebrated all 3 goals in front of the Villa fans like he didn't have a care in the world. And never has he once apologised to the fans. Ever has he once probably given it a thought that, you know, I've ditched my boyhood. And I'm sure it happens all the time. You know, players go for the money. But the thing with Grealish is everyone used to love Jack Grealish. His hairstyle became very popular, and it was unique. It became popular. People, especially younger people, you know, used to get haircuts just like Jack Grealish because they saw him as an idol. They saw him as a role model. They saw him as a hero. And it only took 5 seconds and he was gone. That just makes me... Is that just me for being me, or is that just me? Or am I just correct? Because I am going to question that. I do have questions as to why you left. I think you left in the right way. You've got to be respectful about it. The last thing he was yesterday was respectful. That was the last thing on his mind. You know, this exciting prospect came through the Villa Academy since he was 6 and 7. We stood with him. We watched him progress and, lead our team. But to leave at, 25, which we're talking halfway to 50, my apologies, halfway to 50. You're probably just coming up to your prime career. I think that's probably the worst time to leave. If he'd left at, say, 30, 31, 32, maybe 29, it wouldn't have been so cruel as such. I mean, it wouldn't have hurt any less, but it would have been understood more. He's 25. We've barely really got to see the best of him yet. We've barely got to see anything about him or what he's all about. All we know is he's good at diving and winning fouls. And the fact he was our captain, and I will make a harsh point here, he ain't a captain. He couldn't lead a teacher's pay rise protest. I'll keep using that phrase, but it's true. He couldn't. He really couldn't. He's not a leader. He's not a leader on that pitch. He can't do anything right on that pitch. And therefore, I do have to question what's going on. I do have to question why he's captain. If you lead your boyhood club, you stay there. Something must have gone wrong with Dean Smith. There must have been an argument. There must have been something that didn't go to plan. Because only earlier that year, he signed a contract. So, 5-year contract, I think it was. And I think he said in a quote on Twitter, I think it was Twitter or Instagram, my club, after signing his 5-year deal. You do have to question it. My club is a strong phrase to use, and I don't want to hate on a player constantly. I want to have some respect because he did keep us sorted up in the 1920 season. But I feel let down by this player. And people do question why we beat Jack Grealish, and the simple answer is because he ditched us within 5 seconds. It wasn't, there was a farewell or it was expected. We already knew that maybe one day he was going to go, or it was going to be a challenge to keep him. It was Man City have agreed if he's gone. There was never an apology. And for me, he is a bit of a disgrace. He is a bit of a disgrace because he came out to the Villa fans. Probably did maybe the correct thing, came round and applauded us all. Of course we're going to boo. He has no respect. He's only doing that to make himself feel better and probably look good. He don't care about Villa anymore. You wouldn't do the things he's done and then still love the club. He's made a few things that said he wants to go back to Villa, and went just before his retirement. Mate, you're not going to get welcomed back. It's just not going to happen. Honestly, I wouldn't want him back because he's not going to come back, and I don't want to see him back in the Villa shirt, to be honest, anymore. I would have prior to that game, but from what I've seen, diving, celebrating, even on the final day of the season in the Premier League, I don't recall him ever going to see his old teammates. I was just recalling going to see that trophy, hold that trophy up. I think the worst bit is Pep Guardiola's not helping things, because last season he put him on sort of last minute to wind the Villa fans up. Put him on about the 87 minutes to wind us up. I think he did it again earlier this season. and then this time out he started him and he nearly scored a few times. But you were a number 10 at Villa, and number 10 is a big number at a club. One of the most important at the club. And he has no respect. You know, he just walked out that door. You know, he's the reason, you know, he's the reason he got Dean Smith sacked. Let's be fair. He got Dean Smith sacked. Terry went and Grealish went in the same window. We might have bought as many players as we wanted in, but Grealish and Smith had a relationship like you wouldn't believe. They have a really good relationship. Probably kept each other at the club. And, you know, he walks out on Smith and gets him sacked, and look at him now, he's looking for another job. He's not had the best time at Norwich, got sacked. Well, he's just winning the Premier League every season. I think that just shows the sort of character he is on the pitch. I don't think Grealish is a leader. I don't think he's a captain. I think he's the best footballer. We know he's a diver. But I'm talking about also his attitude as well. The fact he didn't get stripped of captain when he crashed his car during lockdown. For a start, what he was going to do was against lockdown rules to start with. I think the thing that probably said it all, that he doesn't really care about his club, it's probably his attitude towards the end of his last season. You know, he didn't really care about us, didn't really try anymore. He just tried to win fouls, and does that show someone cares? Or does that just show someone just wants to win fouls and penalties and look good? If that's worth 100 million, that's great. The City go spend 100 million on someone that just dives. That's great. But I think he's a disgrace. He is a disgrace to the sport. Because he's let his boyhood club down. He's let, you know, the 5 City fans of this world, he's made them very happy. The rest of them are all tourists, but oh well. You know, he's joined a club with dodgy money. They're not winning the right way. They've been found out this week. Obviously, they're going to get away with it, but who knows? What is the point? What's the point in wanting Grealish? I don't know who would want Grealish to come back. Because he's not good enough. He'd have to apologise. I'm still waiting for that apology. You know, he's all about City now. We love City. No one loves City. They're just they're a club full of good players. That's it. They ain't got no posh fan base. They ain't won the Champions League. Villa have won the Champions League more than them if he wants something to go on. There's something to talk about. He wanted to go win a trophy. We've got the Champions League trophy. Yes, it was called something different, but we still won it in '82. More than City have ever won it. All the quality they have, they need to be winning. The fact they're not winning it, it's disrespectful. It really is. I don't understand Grealish. I don't understand anything about him. I've never liked him as a player. Ah dear. I don't know. I'm not on Grealish because I must say I'm disappointed. I'm surprised a player as loyal as, as far as loyalty goes, he's got none. And, I think he's a disgrace the way he behaved. I think the way he's gone about it. honestly, I'm not really sure where I stand with it. Honestly, I feel he is a little bit of a disgrace to the sport at the minute.